Let us begin with a truth few are willing to say out loud. You were never meant to get rich. Not because you are incapable, not because wealth is immoral, and certainly not because money is scarce, but because the system you were born into does not function if everyone becomes wealthy. That is not cynicism. That is design. From the moment you enter the world, you are handed a script. Go to school, learn obedience disguised as discipline, memorize information you will never use, compete for grades, not understanding. Then, when the conditioning is complete, you are released into the workforce with a single promise. Work hard and you'll be fine. Notice the wording, not wealthy, not free, not powerful. Fine. This is the first lie. Niccolo Machiavelli understood something centuries ago that still governs modern society. Power does not maintain itself through force alone. It maintains itself through belief. The most effective rulers are not those who rule with whips, but those who rule with stories. And the most powerful story ever told to the working class is this: if you just keep working, one day you'll get ahead. But look around. Most people work their entire lives and never escape survival mode. They trade hours for money. They live for the weekend. They fear Mondays. They celebrate retirement like an escape from prison, only to discover that the bars were internal all along. This is not accidental. A system built on wages requires predictability. It needs people who wake up on time, follow instructions, ask permission, and remain just hopeful enough not to rebel, but just tired enough not to question. Machiavelli would call this perfect governance. Because a population chasing comfort will never chase power. Wealth, real wealth, is dangerous to centralized control. A wealthy individual has options: time, influence, choice. A wealthy population becomes uncontrollable. So instead, wealth is turned into a fantasy. A dream sold through lotteries, celebrity worship, and viral success stories that suggest riches are random, rare, or reserved for the chosen. The message is subtle but constant. People like you don't get rich. And if you do, it must be luck. This keeps you compliant, grateful, contained. But here is the crack in the illusion. Every system that profits from your labor must convince you that escape is either impossible or immoral. Otherwise, why would you stay? Machiavelli warned rulers to never let the people realize their true strength, because once they do, the game is over. And that realization always begins with a single dangerous question. Who does my hard work really serve? Here is where the lie deepens. You were taught that hard work equals success, but history tells a very different story. Hard work has always been abundant. Power never has. The peasants worked harder than kings. The laborers built empires they would never own. The soldiers fought wars they would never profit from. Effort has never been the determining factor. Leverage has. Machiavelli did not praise the tireless worker. He praised the strategist, the one who understood systems, incentives, and human nature. The one who positioned themselves where power flowed, rather than exhausting themselves pushing against it. Modern society flips this truth upside down. Those who control systems are praised quietly. Those who operate within them are praised loudly. Why? Because praising hard work keeps the machinery running. If people truly understood that wealth is created through ownership, positioning, and asymmetric advantage, not effort alone, the workforce would shrink overnight. Think about this. Employees are rewarded with salaries. Owners are rewarded with scale. Workers trade time. Owners build assets that work without them. This is not a moral judgment. It is an observation. Yet this distinction is rarely taught in schools, discussed openly in media, or encouraged culturally. Instead, ambition is redirected into safe channels. Promotions, raises, titles. All vertical movement within a cage that never expands. Machiavelli advised rulers to reward loyalty, not intelligence. A loyal subject is predictable. An intelligent one asks questions. So ambition is allowed, but only within boundaries. You may climb the ladder, but you may not question who owns the building. This is why so many intelligent, capable people remain financially stuck. Not because they lack discipline, but because their discipline is applied in the wrong direction. They optimize performance inside a system designed to extract their value. And the system thanks them with applause, plaques, and slightly better cages. True wealth is quiet. It avoids attention. It accumulates while others are distracted. Those who become wealthy often do so by stepping outside the narrative, not excelling within it. They build businesses, acquire assets, control distribution, or leverage networks. And most importantly, they understand psychology. They know the greatest barrier to wealth is not money. It is belief. If you believe wealth is rare, you will never seek it strategically. If you believe wealth requires permission, you will wait forever. If you believe wealth is selfish, you will sabotage yourself the moment you approach it. These beliefs are not accidental. They are inherited. Machiavelli understood that shaping belief is more powerful than shaping law. And the most effective lie is one the victim repeats willingly. Now comes the uncomfortable part. If the lie keeps you working forever, then freedom begins the moment you reject it. This does not mean reckless rebellion. Machiavelli despised foolish defiance. He valued patience, observation, and timing. Power is not seized impulsively. It is accumulated quietly. The first step is mental separation. You stop seeing the system as a path to salvation and start seeing it as a tool. Employment becomes a temporary strategy, not an identity. Income becomes fuel, not validation. You begin asking different questions. Where does money flow naturally? Who controls attention? What assets compound over time? What problems create leverage? These are dangerous questions, because once you ask them, you cannot unsee the answers. You realize that wealth is less about effort and more about positioning. Less about grinding and more about alignment. Less about permission and more about initiative. Machiavelli would advise patience here. Do not announce your awakening. Do not argue with the unawakened. Build quietly, learn privately, move deliberately. Those who reveal their intentions too early invite resistance. The system does not fear the angry worker. It fears the independent one. And here is the final truth. You are not meant to get rich by accident. You are meant to get rich by awareness. The lie was never that wealth is impossible. The lie was that it would come automatically if you obeyed. Once that illusion dissolves, something shifts. At this point, something interesting happens. Some people feel uncomfortable, some feel exposed, and a few feel quietly relieved. If this idea is landing for you, leave a comment below and simply write, "I see it now." Not for me, for yourself. Because the moment you can articulate awareness, even in a small way, you stop being a passive participant in the story you were handed. Most people will watch this and move on. They will feel the truth brush past them and then return to the familiar. But those who comment are different. They've crossed a psychological line, however subtle. They've acknowledged that the game exists. And once you see the game, you no longer play it the same way. You stop waiting. You stop seeking approval. You stop measuring success by exhaustion. You begin playing a different game. Not against people, against systems. And systems, unlike individuals, can be studied, navigated, and eventually mastered. Machiavelli would smile at this moment. Because this is where power quietly changes hands, not with revolution, not with outrage, but with understanding. And understanding, once gained, cannot be taken away. If this video resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe so that we can continue this journey together.